So rather than using numbers and lines to determine where you want each element, like your header and your navigation or whatnot on your page, we can also use something called grid template areas, okay? And over here on this example, you can see where I have a div tag labeled A, and you can see I have A, and A, and underneath it BB, and that goes down, and CC and CC, and it creates that square. You can see in this one where B is much larger now. You got one A and two C's. And this one here, where you got four A's and some dots in this space right here, and a B and a C. And so to replicate that on our own page, we want to move things around our page. And so we can do the same thing. Right now we're going to leave our page at 6 columns and a min-max of 0 and 1 fraction. That means, again, it can get as small and as collapsing in itself as 0, but will always maintain its ratio and grow infinitely large. So we're going to go over here, grid template areas, and we're going to put out this, and we're going to say, all right, we want to put down 6 columns of A. And that would make, maybe we could use that for our header. But actually, I'm going to say, rather than our header, which is our logo, let's do only 2 of them. Let's do that as a B, 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 and B. Okay? And then in the next line down, the next row, we'll have our hero image, so we want to go over 6 columns. And then our next one, we have our main, so we'll call that D. And our next one, we will say that's our footer, which is E. And we'll end it, okay? And now we need to associate these two. So rather than using these numbers, I'm going to say grid area is going to be A. And over here, we'll say grid area for our nav is going to be B. And grid area for our hero image will end up being C. And our main will be D. And our last one will be E. And again, we do this so we can associate all those. Now you can see here, the rest of these, main and the hero image and the footer, they all went fine. But over here, you can see how this took up 2 columns, and this one took up 4 columns. And again, it's just easier to kind of see and visualize how that might be. And I could go down here and say this is going to be an A and an A, and we can look at that. You can see how that kind of came underneath. You really can shift things around, and it's pretty cool. It's really powerful on what you could do if you wanted to. You can see, we're really moving around the page quite significantly doing it this way. Now we have our grid template columns of a repeat 6 up above, and we have this min-max of 1FR. Let's just go with 1FR. Let's actually kick this down. I'm going to kick this down to be a 3-column layout, okay? So that's not going to be that hard. I'm going to do this. We got 3 columns, and this is going to be a BB, and this is going to be a C and a C. And it should look really similar to what we were doing before. So A, BB, okay. So now we need to build our columns. So 1FR, 1FR, and 1FR. There we go. That should look better now. All right. So 3 columns going across. And let's say we wanted to have our rows. We want to do a grid template rows on here, and we'll just say auto for now. But we could go through if we wanted to, and we could say that first row is going to be something like 200 pixels, and the second row is going to be auto, and the third row is going to be auto, and I guess it would continue. The 5th row would be auto, so that should look right there. And now we can see this first one is a 200 pixels tall, and even though this space is being used, it is still being established and automatically be determined and so forth going down. Now we have these items right here, and we want to be able to bring them across and use them so they can be visualized on our page as well. And the way we do that is over here, we say 200 pixels for that row. And then we can say auto for that row, auto for that row, and auto for that row, right next to each of them. And then if we want to determine how big each column is, you go down a line and do a slash. And now we can say 1FR, 1FR, and 1FR. And then from there, I want to take out areas and just say grid template, like so. And when that's updated, it looks fine. And we have the 3-column layout. We have 200 pixels here, auto, auto, auto for the footer down the bottom, and each one is done accordingly. And you can change these. And if I want to go back and say that's going to be 250 pixels across, and refresh that, maybe we need to go more. Let's say 350 pixels. You can see how that is being changed. So this is the shorthand way of combining the grid template columns and rows and grid template area into one kind of shorthand thing. But typically, I like to keep it more, of this nature right here, where you have the columns and rows determined, rather than having them all in shorthand.